Hi everyone, welcome back to World Mike the Partwork Wrangler, and today we have issue number 3, a Build the Disney Doll's House, brought to you by Hachette Partworks Limited, Hachette, whatever you want to call it. It's here, and we've got issue number 3 here. Now, this is quite a complex issue. We've got quite a lot to do here. We've got the full-length mirror, the honey pots, and the front doors, and I will show you that in just a jiffy. Now, as you can see here, we have got to do a bit, let's try and get that up a bit more. We've got to do mirror work for Winnie the Pooh basement. And if you remember the first time round, I got in a higgledy-piggledy mess, and I'm hoping to get this one a little bit better on this one. And here we've got the door frame and windows. Now, when you get to issue 4, you actually put, as you can see, we're going to be putting various things in here. But when you get to issue 4, you actually put this green on, it's like wooden slat things that sit onto the window. So this is going to be very interesting because I've never got round to that issue because of all the issues we have with the bloody newsagent. But this is Winnie the Pooh's room. As you can see, that's the mirror that we'll be building. And then obviously our poster for this week is still the fairest of them all, Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So yeah, that is our section today. So let's show you the honey pots first of all, what we get. It did confuse me a bit because we've got this little one here, and this is the, hang on a minute, this is the green honey, and that one looks like that. These were actually metal, so they're quite heavy, which is lovely. We've then got this gorgeous brown sort of acorn colour one with the orange. I think that's my favourite, and that says, honey, honey, how he filled me, honey, honey. If you've ever seen Mamma Mia, you'll know what I mean. But this is what really confused me. This one didn't come with a lid, which sort of confused me because I was like, well, where's the lid? So I don't think this one is supposed to come with it. It doesn't have the word honey on it either. Yeah, there's how, and it's got the word See Disney on it as well. But there's our little honey pots, which will not be used for a very long time because it won't be, we're miles off from when we get to put them in the room. Now, so let's get our bits and bobs, and this is the little window. We've got the window frame here. We've also got ourselves some other bits and bobs here, and we have our these little parts here as well. As you can see, little railing parts and all sorts going on here. We've got some little feet for it as well. We've got pins which are gonna hold the posts in, and I remember that's where I got a little bit stuck on the last one. And then somewhere around here is my mirror, so I'm gonna get my mirror in a minute, which is hiding its way behind this, and this is our mirror as well. So as you can see, hello. I can't think you can see me in that. But yeah, once it's out, we can see how shiny it is. Okie dokie, so what we'll do now is we will get this going. So first things first, this is the bit I'm very not looking forward to, because this is the bit where I think last time I got so much glue stuck on the window or the mirror. Let me just get my cocktail sticks and we'll get some splodge. I'll tell you something, this glue lasts ages, the 118mm, depending on how, you know, you go on it and so like that. So we'll just get some splodge, aka glue. What we're going to do is, I can't move in this today, let me just pop that over there. What we're going to do is we're going to get our little mirror, I'm going to move that over slightly, and this is the bit where we peel it off from this side, because we've got to peel it off, because it does say before fitting that we peel it off. So yeah, ready, now we can go gooey. I love doing that. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to put a thin coating of glue all around the edge here, and it says put a little bit of glue. I don't know whether wood glue or normal glue, but I haven't got any purpose glue, so I'm just going to put probably the tiniest amount of glue and just run that round the edge here as best as I can. Probably needs a bit more, be a bit more generous than that, but yeah, we just need to just pop this round. It just says apply glue, it doesn't really specify if we need all-purpose glue or the other glue, but we just need to pop that in like that. So we'll just pop that all along there. Now I think last time it was the pins I was having trouble with, so I've got a hammer here in case we need to whack it in and get some welly power behind it, but yeah, we'll shouldn't need to do that, but I don't actually know where my hammer is at the moment, so we might have to use a little bit of pressure to get that in. So as you can see, I'm just popping the glue all around the edge here, like so. Now, at the time of recording this, Barry's, aka Bazzo, he hates being called Barry, he's already got issue 12, because 12 was missing, but he's managed to sort that for me, so 12's on the way, so I should be getting that at some point next week. So yeah, because I was like, when I opened the box there was so many issues and I was like, hang on a minute, 12's missing, so yeah, we'll get that next time. Okay, so I think that's enough glue. So what we're going to do now with this gorgeous frame, this mirror, oops, this mirror has now got to be pushed into here like so. Okay, so we're just going to pop that into there very carefully if we can. Whoops. Now I dare say there's probably some seepage, but to be fair, that's come out quite nice actually. It's gonna seep a little bit, but I think what I'm gonna probably do, let's push that down a smidge, and what I'm gonna probably do is just very carefully just take that out, just see if I can run that through. Let me get a piece of tissue while that's gluing. I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, so there's two ways you can do this. You can either wait for the glue to dry and then sort of pick it off, but I'm just going to use a little bit of tissue here just to fiddly fiddly fiddly. Just needs a little bit more to set, but as I say, do you like my flamingo shirt? I bought it from Peacock's. Oh, Primark. Love it. Do love shirts with a splash of colour. So yeah, I think that's come out pretty nice. We might have to just wait over there with a wet cloth, but yeah, so that's while that's doing its bit, what we'll do is we'll get the pins ready, and these pins are quite small, so we're going to have to be careful here so that we don't lose these pins. So by the way, I forgot to mention this, these Disney Doll's House will be out every Friday. So the pins, it's not saying anything about glue, so as you can see here we've got a hole. That's a very small hole, so I'm assuming the pin will push that paintwork out. It looks like it's paint block, yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to push this pin into the little hole that we've got there. Again, you might have a little bit of paint block, but the pin will push that out, as you can see. Just a little bit concerned that these might be just popping out. Let's just push that a bit. Is that gonna, whoops. Yeah, I might need to get far on that. Just a little bit of paint block. Trouble is I need something to widen that hole a bit, so I might have to get, wonder if that will do it. Just, I just need to push that, yeah, just widen that up a bit. As you can see, it's created another hole now. So what we're going to do is we're going to push that into there. As you can see, if it's just blocked, just widen the hole up a bit, and that will get that out pop perfectly. Okay doke, so just before we move on, as I say, normally if it's a glue part, it will have that little glue sign there. As you can see in this stage, it doesn't want us to glue that in. We've now got to do exactly the same with the other pen, so with the other pin, and that's gone over there. I'm keeping my eye very closely on that pin because these sort of things can fly off, and you know, look at that, there's a big shaving there where it's pushed it through. But what's going to happen now is that's going to go into this hole here, and I'll push. Whoa, this is where it gets fiddly, and that's that one into place. Lovely. So what we now have to do is we now have to get this segment here, and you'll notice that there's two little like notch things here. What we need to do is to ensure that the notch things are facing forwards, not at the back. So you want that straight line facing the back of the mirror. And what we need to do is just dab a little bit of glue. So this could explain why we don't glue the pin in, because they want us to pop it onto, it looks like, all over here, and then all around the edge of here. Okay, so we're just going to pop that all around the edge of here, like so. And then again, deja vu on the other side of this segment here. Lovely jubbly. Okay, lovely. Okay, and then what's going to happen is, so we're now going to shove that into these two holes at the bottom. Okay, so we need to put that into there. We just, it's going to be a bit tricky, this bit. Yeah, that's that one by the looks of it, and then we want to put this one into there as well. So you see that it buffers up against the bottom bit. Lovely. Okay, and then obviously that should sandwich that all into place, and then obviously that's your little mirror. So it's up to you if you want to tack the pins in, because I can see these that, you know, they might keep falling out and stuff. I'm not sure, but I just have that vibe that it's gonna push out. Oh no, my leg. Okay, so as you can see, it will then, well, doesn't seem to stand up very well, does it? That's because the feet ain't on my core. Oh my god. See, these pins fall out, so might have to put glue in them, but I'm not sure. But as I say, what I will do is just try and get that oh my god, it's jumping at me out, guys. What I might have to do is just get that, just want to try and get that excess glue out. I mean, it will peel off, you know, once it's in, but I just want to make sure that we get that excess out as quickly as possible, because obviously once it dries, it makes it a little bit harder to do it. Right, so now what we need to do is, again, we need to glue these little foot posts. So what we need to do in here, we just need to glue this little segment in here, and then that will go onto this side of the, this is why it's got that lip, you see, so it just sits in there lovely and snug, and voila. So then we just wipe off the excess glue, cushy, and then I can See, there's a little bit more glue. And then we want to put another piece onto here and glue this side next. Okay, and then this will go into this side here and section onto there beautifully. Lovely. And again, just wipe away that excess glue. Oh, just hold that a minute, let that bond a minute, and then that will be our little mirror. So pretty good. But as I say, I'm not sure whether I'll keep them pins. I might have to glue them in, because you can see it's starting to work its way out there, look, on that edge. So I have a feeling these will keep popping out and stuff. But oh my god, look, his little mirror. And how cool is that? And you never know, you could have little Mickey here. I've put him in a bag for the minute to protect him from the dust until he gets going. Look, little Mickey checking out his little mirror that there, checking out that he's got his hat on the right way. How cool is that? Cool. Yeah, the reason I put that in the bag is because we're gonna have to protect these until we're at the stage where we get at least the rooms all being done, but that's all well off at the moment. So while that's gluing, we'll put that to one side, because this is where the fun starts. We're now building up the sections where we're going to actually be putting the windows in. So you know these bars that I showed you last time, these are the big window frame sort of bars. These are the frames that we're going to be using, okay, and that's what we're going to be using. So what we need to do is we need to get ourselves one of the bars. So we've got 4 of these posts here, okay, and we need to get the one that has, there's a thick piece and then a thin piece. So I'm assuming the thin piece will go at the bottom. Yeah, the thick piece looks like it's at the top, okay, and we need to have it so that one of these posts, as you can see, it will clip somewhere in the region with the little lip. I reckon somewhere, is that gonna go in there? I don't know, it might go in that piece. A little bit firm there, wow. But yeah, you want to have it something like that so you've got that little notch. So we'll take that off because we need to apply some glue. It's quite nice when you get an issue where you get to glue parts in, because when you're building like cars or actual models where you're just screwing a lot of parts, you feel like you spend more time on parts that you know, are where you get glue in it. So yeah, we'll put that into here now. Wish wash, wish wash, wish wash, and there we go. I love how flush that is. That's fantastic. Wow. Okay. Wow, that couldn't have gone in any better. That is fabulous, darling, fabulous. Okay, lovely. Now what we have to do is we need to get the rest of these 4 posts, because we're going to have one here, there's one going to be up here, and then one at the very end, okay? Now I'm just going to check that these are all exactly the same size, because once you've glued it, that's going to be trouble to try and get that off, and as you can see, they're near enough all the same, so it doesn't really matter which one we use. We need to ensure that this lower notch, as you can see, you've got a top notch and a lower notch. We need to make sure that this lower notch is facing the bottom. So the 2 with the 2 notches here, you've got one there and one there, that needs to face the bottom, because we will be putting these slats across it a little bit later on in the assembly stage. So what we now need to do is we now need to put a little bit of glue and pop these. I'm going to put some glue in the top as well. As you know, with push fits, I like to have lots of glue. Okay, so let's just put a little bit of the dollop. Lovely jubbly. And that's going to literally fit into there. So we just push that into place. Got this very, it's quite rubbing on that. It's quite a firm push that. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, wow. So I imagine this is where, you know, the doors are going to be then. And then we get to put another one exactly the same. You do need to put glue at the bottom, but we'll do that later because that's just literally to assemble this slat on here. So we'll do that a little bit later on. Just going to put a bit more glue in there. Eventually I'll use paint brushes to put it on, but at the moment I'm using them for a different project. So okay, and then that one's going to go into here as well. Yeah, I think issue 4 we're doing something to do with Alice in Wonderland's dining table, so yeah, that's going to be interesting. So I'll put that into there, and that into there like so. They go in absolutely perfect, as you can see. Really, really lovely. I'm going to get that up a bit. I think it's a little bit too high. And then last but not least, we just need to put one into this frame here, which completes that top section. And a lovely bit more glue. It's nice to be using this glue up because it's sat on this desk for probably about 2 years now. It very rarely gets used, you see, so I always have it just in case we have a section where we have to glue, but hardly use wood glue very much these days. So as you can see, that's gone into there cushy, and we just need to wipe away that excess glue. Lovely. So that's our framework. It might be a little bit wobbly at the moment until we get this segment in. We do need to do that as well, but we need to make sure, I think it's, yeah, the dent part, because you've got a flat edge and then an indentation part. The indentation part goes to the front, so you see you've got these little pins. That is so that when you put the door on, it sits in there and creates it, allows it to open and shut. Okay, so this is near enough the front of the house. So lovely jubbly, and now we've got to do it all over again. Now this is the bit I kind of have to do really quick because I've got to get it all pushed in all at the same time, but as you can see, I'm just going to put a little bit of each glue into there and just put a bit in. Doesn't need an awful lot. I mean, you saw how stiff it was going in, so I would reckon it'll hold it without the glue, but just to reinforce it a bit. Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so that's going to go into, ooh, hand shaking, shaky, shaky, shaky. I don't know what, oh, behind me. I'm gonna have to work quite quickly here. That's one. Quick, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. you know where they've got to hurry against the clock because they've got to get their stars and that. Is that going into, come on. See, I'm trying to be quick, but I'm trying to not be as rough. I'm frightened that I'm going to break it, so I don't want to be. I'm finding it's easier to rock it on than it is to actually just push it on, but oh yeah, that's this one's got a little bit of a thing stuck here, so I'm not sure what's these aren't all pushed on. Oh yeah, yeah, that pushed on. You really have to push this to get that in. That's what it is. Oh, lovely. Now that's pushed up as far as I can get that, as you can see. I'm just going to try and set square that a bit because it needs to, this will sort of, once you get it in, it will sort of move out a line. So you've got to get it straight so that it goes in straight, you know. So just a little bit concerned because these are near enough flush. This one's struggling a little bit. That's in a bit more, and This bit at the end's a little bit more in, but that peg there is just really struggling. I don't want to push it too much, but yeah, wow, look at that. Oh wow, I'm very chuffed with that. Wow. But yeah, when we get issue 4, that's gonna be the cookie on the cake for me, because I think we didn't get as far as issue 4, did we? I think the last stage is what you're seeing now, and then it was that ginormous gap. No thanks to W.H. Smith's. But yeah, I'd never do newsagents ever again. No. So that's that section. Now what we need to do now is we've got to put slats in. So these little slats, we've got quite a lot here. Okay, these are going to seal up all these little gaps. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going to do now. And basically we just have to glue all these in basically. So yeah, that glue's starting to dry. Just get some more splodge. Lovely jubbly. Okay, now they're saying to put the glue on these bits, but I don't know if it's easier to put it on there. I'll probably do how they said then. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some glue onto this little segment here. I feel like I'm doing something from Art Attack. And they're all the same, and as you can see, all that does, that's going to put that in there, and I think the idea is it reinforces it a bit. So I'll push that in from the back, and as you can see, beautiful. So again, just wiping away that excess glue. Lovely jubbly. Okay. So yeah, I think we've had a really sort of busy couple of issues so far. So I reckon it will start to die down a bit now, because we have got, oh, that's a thin bit. We have got a dining table to do next time. So that's going to be interesting. I can actually show you what's in that at the end of the video. But obviously if you've built this for yourself, you know, but for any new people, it's always handy. So, right, lovely jubbly. Okay, and then we've got this side here to do. There's a thin one here as well. So, I'm going to put this one in here as well. Just going to check horizontal post A. Oh, that'd be an issue 1. I don't even know where that is at the moment. But I'm just a bit concerned because there's a little thin one, and I've got a feeling that might have gone there, but it looks too big of a gap to put that in. I mean, that's a very thin gap, so I reckon that will slot there. I can't see that going up the top. It looks far too small to fit in that gap. As you can see, it's not even big enough for that slot. So I'm not sure on that, but we can clarify that a little bit later on, you know. But yeah, okay, so that's into there. And then I think we've got, it doesn't say anything about these bottom ones, so yeah. Do you know, I'm not sure. See, that looks stupid like that, so I don't think it is that one, you know. I don't think that goes there, because as you can see, you're going to have a gap there. So these must be for down here, look. Yeah, that seems more of a fit down there. So for some reason, they're saying that we don't glue them in yet. We've just got to do that, this bit up here. And apparently they go in a little bit later on down the line. I walk the line, burn, 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 the ring of fire. I love that song, Johnny Cash. Do you like that, Steve? Johnny Cash? Now, obviously, be careful around here as well, because there's a hole there. So that's going to be for your pin for the door. So don't obviously get glue shoved up that, because if you do, then you're going to be in a bit of an issue, because it will dry up and then you won't be able to get the pin through. So that's them 4, lovely jubbly. And then it looks as if these last ones, these very thin ones, go at the bottom. So that's perfect. So we can just pop one in here, Whoops, one in there, another in there, whoops. And then we've got one to go in there. I don't know why these ones are so thin. And then we'll just pop. As you can see, I'm always cleaning as I'm going round so that we don't leave any residue of the glue left over. And last but not least is this lovely little section here. And then we've got one more little bit to do, which is there. I'll have to see if the range cell, I think the range cell would glue, but I think I've got plenty at the moment, but I think we need all-purpose glue as well for some parts in here. Well, I can honestly say that was a really, really fun issue. Wow. Yeah, that was really fun to do. Wow. Very impressed. Very impressed with that. Wow. We got a window frame. Now, we do get these parts here. We've got 2 window casements. We have these little parts. Remember they came, I think they were in issue 2, because what will happen is, I think it's issue 4, when we do the dining table, all these parts are basically a repeat of what we've done here. Apparently they get suctioned onto here. So for example, just to recap what we've done in this issue, we've done this lovely frame, and we've done the little Winnie the Pooh mirror. So that will go into there. Lovely section there. Really enjoyed this issue. But just to show you what will happen, them parts get done next time. That's in issue 4. Now issue 4 we've got down here, and as you can see, this is something to do with Alice in the Wonderland's dining table, because we've got what looks like a 3 kettle teapot with 3 spouts. We've got a cup, tiny thing there, got some more pins. They're probably going to be for your door. And if I get the magazine, where's issue 4 here? So issue 4, let's just have a look here. So, whoops, issue 13. What do we want that one for? Oh, that's issue 5. Just bear with me, I've got so many issues here. Yeah, issue 4, here we go. So this is what we're doing in issue 4. So this is issue 4. Just put my lid back on the glue, and basically what we're doing is quite an interesting part here. As you can see, it seems to be like a covering that goes on top of that frame that we've just done, but it does look as if we get to put them doors in, which is fabulous. So in issue 4, obviously the dining table we've got to do next time. It's basically, as you can see, it sort of clamps up onto there, but I can see this being quite a big issue because we've got to build it up like the door we did, and then we've got, it is very similar, the same sort of method as the door, and then they've got to go put that in. This is going to be a very busy issue because we've even got to put windows in yet, and then we've got to clamp it all. This is going to take ages. Wow, that's going to be a really busy issue. But anyway, that's issue 4 coming up next Friday. But anyway, this is a fabulous issue. I've really enjoyed doing this, and yeah, I cannot believe we're at issue 3 already. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Remember to tap that good old notification bell so that you can be alerted as and when a video pops up on the channel. And I'll see you next Friday for issue 4 already. Can you believe 4 issues already? But we're whizzing away on this, and it won't be long before we get to, I really want to get into the, like, building all the foundations of the house, all the rooms. I love doing all the woodwork bit. But anyway, that's issue 3. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next Friday for more of Build the Disney Doll Sounds, brought to you by #Partworks. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.